The gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Collins, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And it's odd, Ms. Bogert, we were just talking about wildfires and how they're not managing the forest.
They're not.
So that's a different problem, huge problem. Just like most everything in the federal government is the problem. Mr. Chairman, as you know, we have had hearings in various areas across this country. And y'all, and every time we have these hearings and we're out there, it's pretty much we see the same thing. It's just an overreach from a federal government that is bent on pushing an administration's socialistic, woke agenda. And I want to give you a little bit of my background. I'm in the trucking industry. And Mr. Luthi, I know you said you were sitting tall over, and where I come from in Georgia, we always say I'm kind of like a cat on a hot tin roof. If you saw me squirming, I'm ready to talk. Now, what I haul for a living, and I'm also in the tire recycling industry, but we have a product that's called TDF, or tire-derived fuel, which is mixed with coal. And it actually provides electricity for a manufacturing facility that deals with waste paper. But it also sells power back to the grid. And so obviously there is technology there, to scrubbers in those chimneys to clean this air up after it's being burned, the coal. And so I guess and maybe it's just a personal question, but Mr. Luthi, can you expand on that and tell me about that technology?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Collins. I can't help you with much because that really isn't my expertise, but Wyoming coal companies have been putting scrubbers on their coal plants. I'm sorry, Wyoming electric utility companies have been putting scrubbers on plants for years. That reduces what we call nitric oxide and sulfur dioxide emissions, as well as helps to address the regional haze. I did want to say, you mentioned trucking. And I'm an old politician, so I'm going to take this opening while I have it. We mentioned a little bit about the ozone transport rule, and that's one of the things we're fighting in Wyoming, again, with EPA. And part of the problem we're having is that their modeling, we believe, just does not fit the country that's out there and doesn't take into effect exceptional events like wildfires. The East Coast has seen that exceptional event. I'll be real curious to see if EPA recognizes that now as an exceptional event.
All right, thank you. Would anybody else like to weigh in on that? I don't know if it's something that's in y'all's wheelhouse or not. I find it odd that we've been hauling this product for better part of 20 years. So there's technology out there. And I guess the other thing that I'm curious about, what we've been seeing is the EPA has obviously been playing a big role in suppressing a lot of new power plants or from people being able to mine coal. And is that something that Mr. Driscoll, can you attest to that? Can you expand on that? Is the EPA playing a large role in preventing coal from being mined?
I'm not prepared to talk about that, no, sir. I don't know.
Mr. Luthi?
Thank you. I get the opportunity again. Absolutely. And let me give you a good example of I think is somewhat a disjointed approach. On one hand, some in the administration are talking about how great carbon capture is, how great it should be on a coal-fired plant. And then we have the power plant rule that comes out, and it doesn't give enough time or enough incentive. It's long on sticks and very short on carrots to allow utility companies to do that.
You know what, I think, I know I'm getting short, but I think what we've been seeing too is just a moving of the goalpost. Every time it seems like you're getting close to being able to comply, then the compliance rules change. And I don't know if that's something that you've been seeing in the coal industry, but we've certainly been seeing in all the other hearings that we've been talking about here. And I think that's why one of the big things that I espouse out there in all industries that we need tort reform in this country. These out-of-control environmentalists that are out there suing and just bringing lawsuits with no consequences just to make it harder on people out there trying to make an honest living. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I thank you and I yield back.